Good morning, I'm Alex King.
And I'm Nathan Edwards. Here's three quick stories to get your day started. Young's Jersey Dairy is celebrating 155 years this weekend with a bunch of specials. Get discounts on food, ice cream, and mini golf this Friday through Monday.
Oh, I love Young's Jersey Dairy.
Yes.
Jersey Dairy, sorry.
Yeah, and you get one of these little bottles.
Oh, that's cute.
If you order one of the kids' meals.
Love that.
I actually have one on my desk from the 150th anniversary.
That's crazy. That's a big anniversary.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly been an institution for many, many years.
And still loved. And the Sunday is Sensory Sunday at the Boonshock Museum. You can head out from 10 to noon for a less stimulating experience that will be good for little ones who might be sensitive to light and sound.
Yeah, they actually dim the lights, lower some of the sounds around there, have special staff on hand to help the kiddos.
That's really nice, because not all kids love the craziness. So.
No, and that place does get a little wild on
definitely.
a regular weeknight. So. And the new Old Scratch Pizza in Troy is finally open today. We've been talking about it a long time. Opens up at 11 o'clock on
Old Firehouse.
Ray Street. Yes, the old firehouse. So should be pretty sweet.
Go get you some hot honey pizza.
Ooh, yeah, look at that. That looks fun.
Good.
They got those cool fire ovens. And yeah, I know people at Troy, they're pretty pumped about this. So,
can't wait to check it out.
Yeah, should be good.
This morning, 3 people are now recovering in the hospital after a police chase ended in a crash and officer-involved shooting. This is drone video from the scene on US 35.
Now you can see the suspect's truck actually landed on top of a cruiser. Now US 35 shut down for more than 9 hours. A Trotwood officer, the suspect, and one of the suspect's relatives are all at Miami Valley Hospital right now. Now here's what we know this morning. Trotwood police got a call about a woman hit by a vehicle at Voyager Village Trailer Park around 11 o'clock yesterday morning. Officers started helping her when the suspect drove past them in a white truck.
Said now sharing his opinion on Governor DeWine's veto of House Bill 68. That bill would have banned all gender-affirming care for minors. Husted says he supported the bill as written, while DeWine objected to certain provisions.
Reasonable people can disagree on this. I just believe that men shouldn't play women's sports for lots of reasons, and we shouldn't have these surgeries that create permanent medical outcomes for children before they're old enough to decide on their own.
Parents have looked me in the eye and have told me that but for this treatment, their child would be dead.
DeWine just signed an executive order which bans gender transition surgeries for minors. It's more narrow than House Bill 68.
Kettering's jumping into the new year with the new trampoline park. This is pretty cool. Nova Trampoline Park is taking the place of Mark's discount drug and grocery store at the Kettering Oak Creek Plaza. On top of trampolines, the space will have dodgeball, a foam pit, a rock wall, and a whole lot more. It'll also hire 45 people. You can find more information about the park on our website, Dayton247now.com. Just find this story under local news.
Seems like something the boys would love.
Oh, my kids love trampoline parks, and yeah, it's always a madhouse.
Yeah, and at least it's nice. It's indoors, so
you just let them run. Let me tell you, that's the best part.
Our time right now is 5:07. Don't forget, you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
President Biden's biggest supporters letting him know it may be time to change strategies in order for him to stay in office for another 4 years. I'm Scott Thuman in Washington. I'll explain how coming up.
Parts of New Mexico recovering after being slammed with a winter storm yesterday. More on the blizzard-like conditions impacting millions next.
You're watching Your Day.
IRS says January 29th will mark the official start of the 2024 tax season. That's the first day they will begin accepting returns. The announcement comes as the IRS is undergoing a major overhaul aimed at improvising its operations, including more walk-in centers, increased help available on the toll-free line, and enhanced paperless processing. The agency expects more than 128.7 million tax returns to be filed by the end of April 15th deadline. Most refunds will be issued in less than 21 days.
A massive winter storm is making its way across the U.S. with all of Ohio under snow or rain this morning. Now, the National Weather Service is forecasting heavy snow, strong winds, and blizzards all across the Midwest. Now, this impacting people even as far south as New Mexico, where they saw a blizzard. Now, take a look at this. Intense snow hammered in New Mexico yesterday, causing as many as 50 motorists to be stranded in the weather. That's according to the Union County Sheriff's Office. The storm is currently making its way toward the northeast part of the U.S. and snow is not something you really think too much of in New Mexico, but it is mountainous in parts of that area.
Yeah. Yes. Someone was listening yesterday because I mentioned that in New Mexico. Arizona also has blizzard-like conditions every time. We're pointing out that blizzard is one of those terms that sometimes gets mixed colloquially and actually the hard definition, which is 3 hours of 35-mile-an-hour winds and visibility less than a quarter mile. So basically it's saying you cannot travel for up to 3 hours. And in parts of North Dakota, they will have blizzard conditions for not just an hour, 2 hours, days, sometimes a week. I mean, you're talking about not being
Alex
able.
like, no, I'm good.
You're talking about people not being able to get out of their house for 4 or 5 days, where they put down barriers on the interstates and say you cannot travel.
Not quite blizzard conditions here in the Miami Valley, but still some headaches.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very fair way to put it. And frankly, based on the way that the winds and the snow potentially could be on its way for tomorrow, it's probably going to be a really messy at best and difficult at worst set of morning commutes today and tomorrow. Still tracking rain and snow as it continues. There is a significant dry area that has developed Indianapolis down towards 69 and 64. That may make its way in for the heart of the morning commute, which would be good news because that would at least take the threat of rain in the air. But look at how much snow. Iowa, down in towards Oklahoma, Kansas. Of course, if you were extrapolating that further southwest, that's where New Mexico came into play. As for today, periods of intense rain, maybe a break or two, but we are going to see those showers throughout the daytime today. Could mix with some wet snow overnight. Based on temperatures, it may be a case where some of us do wake up to a little bit of accumulation. I'm not quite sure, based on how much rain we do get today, how much could actually stick around, because frankly, it's going to be so wet that a lot of that snow will melt on impact. And don't forget, what you really need in this environment with temperatures at or above freezing is the snowfall rates to overcome that melting. And based on the amount of liquid water, I'm not banking on a whole lot. For Wednesday, it's significantly cooler. And talking about cooler, we will see a pattern shift as we get towards the tail end. So Thursday into Friday, stop me if you've seen this one before. That's basically yesterday into today. Then from there, Saturday, it does look like the colder air. Difference is we're not going to bounce back up. If anything, it's going to get colder and colder, which means that these temperatures are going to be down in the teens and low 20s based on how much snow we get, whether it's Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. There is the chance that we could start talking single digits near zero lows. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, it is very, very wet. As we mentioned, it's wet, it's breezy, it's kind of a miserable slog. Give yourself plenty of extra time and space across the area.
While Donald Trump appears primed to have a big night in Iowa next week, there's a growing disapproval in the South involving President Biden. Chief political correspondent Scott Thuman explains.
All eyes are now on Iowa.
And if we turn out, this is going to be a really, really special night for us.
We have to win this. We have to win it big. Go out and caucus.
As the political world focuses on Iowa with just 1 week before ballots are cast, far away in Charleston, South Carolina, President Biden is engaged in his own critical push.
And with your help, I made Juneteenth the first federal holiday since Dr. Martin Luther King Day.
In a state that secured his 2020 nomination, The congressman credited with saving Biden's White House hopes then now sees serious pitfalls.
How worried are you about black voters showing up for President Biden in November?
I'm very concerned, and I have sat down with President Biden. My problem is that we have not been able to break through that MAGA wall.
Jim Clyburn says Biden relieved student debt, lowered unemployment, and put an African-American woman on the Supreme Court, but isn't getting enough credit. On top of that, poll numbers paint an alarming picture for Biden and his team, counting on that key voting bloc that at the moment appears splintered. While Biden still is overwhelmingly the favorite among black voters, support sits at just 63%, a massive dip from exit polls after the 2020 election that showed Biden carrying black voters by more than 90% per Politico. According to the Washington Post, President Obama recently met with Biden, offering guidance on how to improve his campaign staffing and strategies. The two also teaming up for more online attention.
Yeah, it's still a BFD.
Though it's not just black voters looking elsewhere, as polls show Latino and young voters also shopping around. In Washington, I'm Scott Thuman.
Our time right now is 5:18, still to come.
COVID-19 is surging right now across the country, but what if it's not just COVID-19? I'm Liz Bonus. Combo virus is now showing up. We'll tell you about them just ahead.
You're watching Your Day.
It is time for Pet of the Day here on Your Day, and today we go black and white with Frank. Frank joining us. I believe Brandy is of Chad and Brandy Hopkins fame on our Facebook, who always tend to chime in. And if it's not, my apologies, but of course, we always love our viewers who chime in, whether it's their pets or their opinions on our poll question of the day. Today, look at temperatures, upper 40s, if not 50 degrees across some parts of the area. Further north should be a touch cooler, but no matter where you are, it will be warm enough that this is going to fall as a steady and at times heavy rain. There may be a break or two, but based on the fact that, yeah, we are going to be dealing with rain. There's already been a ton of rain, if not a little bit of wet snow overnight. It is a virtual mess outside, and that includes walking the dog, where I think a lot of towels are going to be used to wipe off some paws. And if your pet, like mine, doesn't like being outside in the rain, boy, is it not going to be a particularly fun day. All right, on the roads this morning, a couple things we're watching right now. Looks like there is a disabled vehicle of some sort. I'm not sure if it was a crash or something similar. 75 and 3rd Street. That's in a southbound direction. So that's as you're, I believe, heading down towards Caroline. You could see the lights there and the vehicle that's not moving. So if you are traveling there, be aware, and just be aware today that there's probably going to be a couple of slower moving vehicles as well.
Sales of sugary drinks plummeted by a third in 5 U.S. cities after they started taxing those products. Now, the 5 cities examined were Boulder, Colorado, Philadelphia, Oakland, California, Seattle, and San Francisco. Tax amounts levied on the sugary drinks range from 1 to 2 cents per ounce. Well, a survey of 2,000 U.S. adults revealed when they were growing up, their parents used traditional approaches to wellness more so than alternative ones, and 61% believe their family set a good example of health and wellness when they were growing up. This was conducted by OnePoll on behalf of KLL Vitamins, and the survey aimed to uncover how Americans approach their health. Interestingly, about 1 in 5 think modern medicine is untrustworthy, and that may be why the average respondent will endure nearly 4 days of symptoms before going to the doctor. Well, 1 in 5 Americans find it's harder to commit to a fitness routine than a partner. This was conducted by OnePoll on behalf of Freeletics, and they found while 45% have found their perfect workout, 24% are still searching for it. From the NASDAQ market site, I'm Jane King. Here's your help.
A dangerous trend right now, and several illnesses going around, including COVID-19, the flu, and RSV. Medical reporter Liz Bonas shares why it can lead to lingering symptoms.
Hey there, everybody. COVID-19 now surging across the country. 6 in 10 cases right now, according to the CDC, are from this new JN1 variant. But one of the reasons so many are sick is that it appears many are getting COVID-19 and another virus, too.
Oh, it's happening. I see it.
These combo viruses are showing up in both patients and healthcare workers, according to public health provider Dr. Steve Fagans.
Right now, it looks more overlap of either COVID or a bacterial pneumonia and RSV.
Some of it may be because we are now testing for all of these illnesses, including RSV. We didn't used to do that test often in adults.
Is it important to test for both then to get the right treatment?
Yeah, great point.
Yeah.
So what if you have RSV? What are you going to do differently other than symptomatic control and isolate? It's more important to know if you have COVID because that informs your isolation, and there's medicine. Same thing for influenza.
That medicine, of course, Paxlovid for COVID-19, Tamiflu for fighting the flu. Getting the right one soon after symptoms set in can keep you from hospitalization and severe complications.
Does this mean you get more symptoms?
There are more symptoms. They're not double, but nonetheless, it is, that cold that like this thing is longer than it should be. Well, maybe that means there's more than one, virus or more than one pathogen.
Dr. Fagan says give it about 7 to 10 days. If symptoms seem to get worse instead of better, reach out for medical attention. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonas reporting.
The American Red Cross declaring an emergency because of a critical shortage of blood. The nonprofit says the number of people donating blood is at its lowest level in 20 years. There's been about a 40% drop in the number of people willing to roll up their sleeves. The Red Cross says the blood shortage is bad enough that it could delay medical procedures and put people's lives at risk. The Red Cross is calling on the public and medical professionals to pitch in to help the country's blood supply bounce back. And to find more information as well as where you can find the nearest place you can donate, visit the website on your screen. That's redcrossblood.org.
Today is sure to lift you up. It's National Balloon Ascension Day. It commemorates the first hot air balloon flight in the U.S. In 1793, French aeronaut Jean-Pierre Blanchard ascended a hydrogen gas balloon above a prison in Philadelphia. Today, hot air ballooning is enjoyed from the ground and the air, as well as a tool for weather and research. You may not be able to celebrate them with today's weather, but they're still pretty to look at.
Do you relish the thought of traveling the country in a giant hot dog? Well, Oscar Mayer is now taking applications to drive its iconic Wienermobile. The company says it's looking to hire 12 drivers for its 27-foot-long hot dog on wheels. Drivers can expect to travel about 20,000 miles over the course of the year-long assignment, visiting at least 20 states. The job comes with a base salary of $35,600 plus a weekly allowance for meals and personal travel. Oscar Mayer is accepting applications through the end of January. This sounds like such a little fun adventure.
A weekly allowance for hot dogs.
Yeah, I was about to say, what do you think that weekly allowance covers? It probably covers mustard, never ketchup, but also, you know, like sauerkraut.
People around here like ketchup on their dogs.
I know, they're wrong. And, you know, we've done this before, so I'm not going to do the bit. But I think it's really awesome to see, like, people stole the Oscar Mayer Wiener. Anytime you see it, it's like, people, oh yeah, the Wiener was in town. It was over here at this spot. Like, you always do kind of have that, like, response to it.
When was the last time you saw the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile?
When I was in Lexington, when I was reporting in Lexington.
Oh, really?
So it's been
It passed through Fort Wayne a
about
good
3
bit
years,
when I was
probably.
there.
I saw it over Christmas break at a Kroger in Beaver Creek.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
fair enough.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's fun.
I love it. Our time right now is 5:29, still to come.
Law enforcement officers were shot more last year than any time before. I'm Janae Bones in Washington with a look at what needs to be done to stop this troubling trend.
And taking a live look from our Kalamazoo sister station's weather vehicle out on the road this morning. They're seeing a lot of snow up north and all across the U.S. Just ahead, Nick has your forecast for the Miami Valley.
Looks fun. You're watching Your Day. Air this morning, we are having some issues with traffic at this hour. You're taking a live look at a crash from 75 and 3rd. That is a car on its side. And we're seeing other crashes popping up throughout the Miami Valley this morning due to some pretty sketchy weather out there.
Yeah, it is definitely slick out there, so make sure you leave early. Take your time as you head out the door. Here's a closer look we're seeing right here behind us of kind of just the mess that we're dealing with this morning. You can see it is just wet out there.
Now, I believe this is a crash at Moraine. This is from our photographer, Les, who is live on the scene this morning. Let's check in now with meteorologist Nick Maruziak. Nick, this is the story of the morning, a mess out on our highways due to the storm we're experiencing.
Yeah, this is one of those classic mornings where it was rain rather than snow, but based on the fact that there was still some slick spots and a ton of rain, this is going to cause a complete mess out there. And at worst, we're talking about difficult driving conditions. And this is just going to be kind of the way it goes here for the next few hours. The only hope is maybe a little bit of a dry slot that's developed out to the southwest. But even still, this is starting to fill in a little bit. So this may be just a period where maybe it's more of a drizzle as compared to a heavy rain or maybe even some snow. We are going to be watching this rather closely. If you're putting kids on a bus this morning or driving around the neighborhoods, please, please, please give yourself plenty of extra time and space. Again, multiple crashes this morning, so keep that in mind as you head out the door.
New data shows 2023 was the most dangerous year for police officers. More of them were shot in the line of duty than ever before. Janae Bowens explains why this is happening and how it can be stopped.
I don't know how to live without you, and I didn't ever want to imagine it.
It's been 4 months since Brittany Lindsay lost her fiancé, Deputy Ryan Klinkenbroomer of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. He died just 4 days after they got engaged.
I'm so happy I was able to love him.
He was ambushed and murdered while he was sitting in a patrol car. The National Fraternal Order of Police say 2023 saw the highest number of officers shot, with 378 officers shot in the line of duty. 46 of them were killed, and there were also 115 ambush-style attacks.
And that's very, very concerning because we're seeing cops getting attacked and shot simply for being cops.
Sergeant Betsy Smith with the National Police Association says more light needs to be shined on the positive things officers do, and departments need more funding and more officers.
We are so short-staffed, we don't necessarily have the time to attend the training that we need to keep police officers and ultimately the community safe.
She says it's going to take a multi-pronged approach to stop officers like Klinkenbroomer from being killed in the line of duty.
Now look down on all your brothers and sisters in blue. Keep them safe so this never happens to anyone else. Protect them and watch over them as they continue to serve their community.
Now, the National Fraternal Order of Police is calling on Congress to pass the Protect and Serve Act. Now, this bill calls for the establishment of a new criminal offense for knowingly assaulting an officer and causing serious bodily harm or attempting to do so. In Washington, I'm Janae Bowens.
A live look over the White House now this morning. Right now, a driver's in custody after a vehicle crashed into the gate of the White House late last night. Now, the Secret Service is investigating. No one was hurt. Roads closed down temporarily because of the crash. President Biden was not at the White House at the time.
At least 21 people are recovering after an explosion at a historic Texas building. It happened at the Sandman Signature Fort Worth downtown hotel. One person has critical injuries, 4 are in serious conditions, and everyone else has minor injuries. Crews found multiple people trapped in the basement of the 20-story building.
This morning, we're hearing from firefighters who ran into a burning charter bus. The crash on I-70 killed 6 people from the Tuscarawas Valley School District. Firefighters also praised bystanders who rescued passengers from before they arrived, likely preventing a bigger tragedy.
Former Presidents Bill Clinton and Donald Trump were named in the latest document dumps from a lawsuit connected to Jeffrey Epstein. One of Epstein's victims alleges the 2 men had sex with girls in Epstein's circle. The victim has since retracted her claims. She cited a fear for her family's safety. Both Trump and Clinton have denied any wrongdoing.
President Biden's getting some pushback on his stance on the Israel-Hamas war. Pro-Palestine protesters interrupted President Biden's speech in South Carolina yesterday.
That's all right. That's all right.
Polls show the president is losing some support from progressives in his party, but Biden's supporters eventually drowned out those chants. South Carolina voters pushed Biden to the top of the Democratic primary in 2020.
After 20 years of calling it the Western and Southern Open, Ohio's premier tennis event is getting a new name. It will now be called the Cincinnati Open. The tournament is entering its 125th year. The renaming comes after owner BMOC Capital announced the event will stay in Mason for the next 25 years, despite talks of moving it to Charlotte, North Carolina. BMOC also plans to invest $260 million to improve the venue.
Our time right now is 5:38. Don't forget, you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
The NTSB releasing new photos of the fuselage that came loose mid-flight. Just ahead, the latest on the terrifying incident.
You're watching Your Day.
Federal inspectors still investigating what caused a piece of an Alaskan Airlines airplane to blow off in mid-flight Friday. The National Transportation Safety Board is inspecting the fuselage door plug, which a teacher in Portland, Oregon, found in his yard. It's described as the size of a refrigerator. Investigators will compare it to a smaller door plug on the other side of the Boeing 737 MAX 9 plane. Then it will be sent to an agency lab in Washington, D.C. for further inspection. Investigators will also look into whether a warning light that came on 3 times in the past month is related to the incident.
United Airlines has discovered loose door plug bolts on its 737 MAX airplanes. It's not known how many planes have the issue. The problem was discovered during mandated inspections after the Alaska Airlines incident. United has canceled more than 450 flights because of the issue.
All right, we are looking at a very wet start to your morning, a wet overall day as well. Let's get to it, shall we? Now, in terms of the heaviest rainfall, we have already seen a lot of it move through, but there's going to be a period late this morning through maybe the early afternoon where, again, there could be some periods of moderate, even heavy rain. So keep that in mind out the door. It's going to be a sopping wet one. Overnight tonight could be some periods of wet snow as well. So tomorrow morning's commute could be quite treacherous as well. This is just a period where you'll want to give yourself plentiful extra time, whether it's today, tonight, or tomorrow morning. Tomorrow itself, cloudy with a couple flurries, and then for Thursday morning could actually see even more wet weather. Now, as for this morning, if you are traveling, the biggest issue remains generally right now over downtown. That between Main Street and 3rd, there is an overturned truck. We did get word that there were no injuries according to dispatch, but obviously they're going to have to move that truck, which may mean that at least the left lane is going to be shut down here for the next half hour or so as they begin to move our tow truck and all that. So again, we're going to see a delay there. South of Dryden Road, that's where we had an earlier crash. At the present point, it has cleared out, so good news there. Still a little bit of a backlog as you head up towards Carillon, where there's a little bit of residual traffic. Other than that, right for now around Dayton, it is quiet. But again, 2 issues already, and we're not even here at what, 6 in the morning?
Americans' attitudes about inflation have improved. In fact, they haven't felt this good about it in 3 years. That's according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York's December Survey of Consumer Expectations report. The survey tracked median inflation expectations 1, 3, and 5 years ahead. All 3 periods showed declines. The survey also found expectations about credit access and overall financial health trended upward.
Managing finances can be especially challenging for retirees or people who plan to retire soon.
But the AARP has tips on how you can adjust your financial outlook. Elise Coulter shares more.
Because inflation is down and things are improving financially, monthly security payments will only go up by 3.2% this year. And for some, that boost is a bit disappointing. So here's some expert advice from AARP. That tiny bump is obviously not going to be enough for everyone to feel comfortable and confident about their savings. That's according to the experts. Another concern for 2024, standard premiums for Medicare Part B are on the rise as well, but there's a bright side, according to the experts at AARP. People 50 and over can now contribute up to $30,500 to a 401k or another type of deferred compensation plan this year. According to the experts, that's a little just extra bit of money that you could put towards your retirement. Another good thing happening this year, the retirement age is slowly being raised from 65 to 67. And this year, it's going to hit 66 in 8 months. You can start collecting Social Security before the age of 65, but your payments will be permanently reduced. On the other hand, if you wait until 70, it'll earn you a bonus. So the experts from AARP suggest considering the best age to start claiming Social Security so you can maximize how much money you can get. Guys, back to you.
And we want to know how you're stretching your dollars, so grab your phone and scan the QR code.
Chime in a picture or video and share your money-saving tips. You may see them featured right here on Your Day.
Our time right now is 5:46. The Cincinnati Bengals entering their offseason with the Browns, heading to the playoffs to just add how the teams feel about their seasons.
You're watching Your Day.
the Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
All right, you're taking a live look right now at traffic cams. It is a mess out there this morning as we're experiencing heavy rain. You're looking at a crash there at 75 and Main Street, 75 and West Riverview Avenue, and then there's an overturned car at 3rd Street as well. So, yeah, it is a hot mess out there, folks, and if you are heading out this morning, you definitely want to keep this in mind.
Yeah, definitely leave early if you can. As you can see, it is wet out there on the roads, very slick. So we're going to go ahead and send things over to our meteorologist, Nick Marusiak, who's out on the patio.
Yeah, thanks, Alex and Nathan. So I came out here and I was kind of curious what to expect. Obviously, it is sopping wet, but more importantly, it's still continuing to rain, which means that it's going to get even wetter and more slick if it's at all possible. It is worth pointing out that this morning it is majority rain here in Miamisburg. Further to the north, there still could be an area or two where it's more a slushy mixture, so it could be even more slick as you head up towards, let's say, Salina, Lima, even towards Toledo. We will gradually see all of the area, if it has not already, switch over to rain. But again, this is going to be a sopping wet morning. So for all those kids heading out to the bus, you can see the radar, still a lot of yellows, greens, so there is going to be some more periods of steady rain this morning. Could be a break or two. That would be the optimistic part, but still have those umbrellas handy and give yourself plentiful extra time as you head out the door.
Hello, I'm Matt Digby with a look at sports. The Cincinnati Bengals winning Sunday to finish the year above 500, but the Bengals offseason officially in progress. No playoff appearance for the first time since 2020. So that means Monday was exit meetings and locker room cleanouts as the team starts looking ahead to 2024. Now, Joe Burrow signed his contract extension at the beginning of this season, but there are a couple of decisions for the Bengals to make regarding personnel. Several big names are eligible for free agency. Zach Taylor addressing the potential of roster turnover and the chance for new players to step up.
You're going to have a lot of first, second year, third year players, and there's new leadership that has to emerge from that group. And that starts with me helping navigate that leadership. That is a big point of emphasis here in the next 6 months.
It's always tough when you're watching from the sideline. You're used to being out there playing and making a difference. You tried to find ways to make a difference where you could, but obviously it's not the same. Guys maintained their routines. They stayed engaged. They went out and tried to win football games, and we did. We put ourselves in position. Didn't quite make the playoffs, but we had our opportunities.
While the Cleveland Browns saw their 4-game win streak end on Sunday, they still have at least one more game to play this season. The Browns will be on the road Saturday afternoon at Houston for the wild card round. Cleveland beat the Texans 36-22 back on Christmas Eve, but Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud missed that game with a concussion. Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski acknowledging that he'd hoped for a win in the regular season finale, but now they can focus on trying to advance in the postseason.
I thought that was a great learning experience for a bunch of young guys, and I think they will get better because of that. And then we'll get on the airplane and we'll get ready for Houston. Really, our focus goes on to that second season, and we have to really get back to work is really where our focus is. Obviously, I have a ton of respect for their team, their coaches. They do a great job.
And the College Football Hall of Fame announcing its class of 2024. There is a Dayton native among this year's inductees. Chris Ward played at Patterson Co-op before a successful 4 years at Ohio State as an offensive lineman under Woody Hayes in the 1970s. Former Buckeye assistant and one-time UC head coach Mark D'Antonio is one of 3 coaches to be inducted. So is Frank Solich, the winningest head coach in MAC history. The full 22-person class will be formally enshrined in December. That's a look at sports. I'm Matt Digby.
Our time right now is 5:52. You're watching Your Day.
The wet weather continues not only for us, but across the country. It is worth pointing out that this is a classic style storm where you are getting snow across most of the Great Lakes in towards the Iowa area. But look at down Alabama. Actually, a severe weather outbreak for parts of the country, including not only Georgia, but parts of South Carolina. Now, as for us, rain snow line basically draped on top of us, although I probably think by now it has moved north of the area based on temperatures. Still, Lima could get some snow, a really wintry mix, if you will. For today, temperatures supportive of rain. Tonight, that's where we will have a window where we could yet again see that wet snow, sleet, rain mixture. And because of that, it could be not just this morning's commute, but tomorrow's morning's commute that is impacted by weather. Not necessarily impossible to drive, but certainly a lot more difficult than if it was dry and clear. We're pointing out that it also will be windy, not just today, but also at times tomorrow. So the next 2 days, the winds are going to be up. The rain or snow, it's not going to be particularly nice. Friday into Saturday, we'll see more wet weather, but I think the big storyline is going to be next week's cold weather. This is going to be the first time that we really have that first fall push, or excuse me, winter push of air. Now, if you are traveling, the big story we're watching is I-75 South. This is right by 3rd Riverview, basically in the heart of downtown. Overturned truck, no injuries. Good news to report there. They are blocking lanes, though, pushing vehicles over, and we have not seen a tow truck take the vehicle out yet. Over by Buena Vista, now that is I-70 eastbound heading towards Columbus. There is an incident reported there over by exit 66. So if you're heading towards Columbus, I'm not quite sure if there's a significant delay. It's out of the camera's sight, but there is at least one incident reported there as well.
Grader's Ice Cream is celebrating Fiona the Hippo's 6th birthday. The company's releasing its Chunky Chunky Hippo Ice Cream. It is the flavor's final run before retiring. The flavor has been a toffee ice cream base with roasted peanuts and milk chocolate caramel truffles. Ooh, if that flavor isn't for you, Grader's is also rolling out the chocolate coconut almond chocolate chip. You can find these flavors for a limited time at Grader's locations. And guys, anything chocolate and Grader's you can't really go wrong with, right?
I want it all.
Yeah, coconut kind of makes me feel a little summery. It's like a little
beach vibe.
Yeah, even though it's
like you're
lies.
sipping a pina colada on the beach.
Boy, I wish I was doing that this morning. Instead, we're here getting poured on, but alas, we're not in Bermuda.
It's what we call coping mechanisms. Right? Guess we
certainly one way to look at it.
Our time right now, 5:57. You're watching Your Day.
Good morning, I'm Alex King.
And I'm Nathan Edwards. Here's 3 quick stories to get your day started. Young's Jersey Dairy celebrating 155 years this weekend with a bunch of specials. Get discounts on food, ice cream, mini golf this Friday through Monday. Some of the deals are even $1.55 for the anniversary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Love
so
that. That sounds like a good time. Mini golf and ice cream?
When mini golf when it's freezing cold,
Well,
could be
yeah,
fun.
That's true.
Whatever. Inside will be good though.
Yes. You can just hang out inside.
Yeah,
That's
there
fine.
you go. Go get some food.
And this Sunday is Sensory Sunday at the Boone Shop Museum. You can head out from 10 to noon for a less stimulating experience that will be good for little ones who might be sensitive to light and sound.
Yeah, they even have backpacks for some of the kids with, some earphones if they need them, stuff like that to help make it less stimulating, but also a fun and inclusive environment for kiddos.
This is funny. I like how they have this little spinner thing. And then
Yeah, fidget spinner.
button
Yeah,
thing.
fidget spinners are kind of fun. I find myself.
It's a little distracting.
Yeah, I need the distractions. A new Old Scratch Pizza in Troy is open today. We've been telling you about this for a couple weeks now. Opens at 11 o'clock on Race Street. It is in the old fire station.
Yeah.
And it'll be quite the vibe.
Yeah, I'm excited to check this out.
Love it. Troy's great. There's a lot popping up in Miami County, a lot more people moving up there.
Mhm.
It's happening, hopping.
It's about that time to get some pizza again. So
I'm hungry
Same.
already. We now want to give you a live look this morning at our ODOT cameras. You can see from the top left corner, I-75 at Stanley, traffic slowing down quite a bit. That's because we're experiencing multiple crashes. Bottom left-hand corner, that is I-75 at 3rd Street. Car on its side. We've been monitoring crashes all morning long. That's all due to the weather. We've been experiencing heavy rainfall this morning. So let's check in with meteorologist Nick Maruziak. And Nick, over the last couple of minutes too, we've gotten a few school delays. What can we expect from the weather for the next couple of hours?
Well, Nathan, let's talk about those school delays just real quick. So Graham Local, Mechanicsburg exempted village schools, Urbana and West Liberty Salem. So you can find the complete list on our website. I'll go ahead and link that to our Facebook here over the next few minutes. Now, this is a sprawling low over much of the United States, but in terms of our area, it's a rain-snow mixture for the most part, and I do think it's going to stick around throughout much of the morning. So if you are not one of those kids that have a school delay, sorry, back to school for you, but it is a rain, and I would dare say sopping wet start to your morning. Keep this in mind that there's a lot of water on the roads, and there still could be some slick spots, especially in the more rural areas and areas where it has remained a touch colder. Now, in terms of the biggest incident this morning, it is again over downtown Dayton. So keep that in mind as you head out the door this morning. Of course, we'll continue monitoring roads and traffic conditions all throughout the daytime.
This morning, 3 people are now recovering in the hospital after a police chase ended in a crash and officer-involved shooting. This is drone video from the scene on US 35.
Now you can see the suspect's pickup truck landed on top of a Trotwood police cruiser. US 35 shut down for more than 9 hours. A Trotwood officer, the suspect, and one of the suspect's relatives are all at Miami Valley Hospital right now. Now here's what we do know this morning. Trotwood police got a call about a woman hit by a vehicle at Voyager Village Trailer Park around 11 yesterday morning. Officers started helping her. When the suspect drove past them in a white truck, they say he pointed a long gun at them. That's when the chase started. Police followed the suspect on US 35 as law enforcement agencies joined them. They say the suspect started firing at them, then at the intersection of Liscum and US 35. Investigators say the suspect crossed all lanes of traffic and hit a Montgomery County Sheriff's Office cruiser and a Trotwood cruiser. Police then fired multiple shots at the truck and hit the suspect, the Trotwood officer inside the cruiser. The suspect and the suspect's relative who was hit by the truck are all in the hospital right now. The officer and the woman are expected to be okay. No word yet on the suspect's condition.
Jenna Lee Bork shares video from bystanders who saw the terrifying scene.
This witness actually started filming right when he saw the police activity.
The detectives was over here, everything.
He shockingly stayed calm as he watched what was unfolding.
Oh, they got them police chasing.
And then...
All right, here you go, right here. Damn, he just took them out.
The shock was similar from both witnesses as they filmed.
Oh, look at this.
Then reality set in just as shots began to fire.
That was crazy. Oh, they busting. Oh, they busting. They're having a shootout down here. That ran straight into the police.
And we're still working to learn more about this investigation, but the sheriff's office says it will take time. We first brought you details on the crash yesterday as breaking news. To get push alerts sent directly to your phone, download our Dayton 24/7 Now app in Google Play or Apple App Stores. You can also scan the QR code on your screen right now to get sent directly to the app. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. A Vandalia man will now spend 13 years in prison for possession of fentanyl near a school. Prosecutors say 34-year-old Jason Glanton had enough fentanyl to kill thousands of people. After months of investigating, officials say he dealt multiple variations of the drug near Houck Elementary School. Glanton pleaded guilty in September.
A 15-year-old Wapakoneta boy is fighting for his life in the hospital after being shot. He's right now in critical condition. It happened around 5:30 Sunday morning. Police found the boy with a gunshot wound and took him to the hospital. Right now, they do not suspect foul play. Ohio BCI is helping with the investigation. Wapakoneta High School's crisis intervention team is available to help students and staff struggling with this.
Lieutenant Governor John Husted now sharing his opinion on Governor DeWine's veto of House Bill 68. That bill would have banned all gender-affirming care for minors. Husted says he supported the bill as written while DeWine objected certain provisions.
Reasonable people can disagree on this. I just believe that men shouldn't play women's sports for lots of reasons, and we shouldn't have these surgeries that create permanent medical outcomes for children before they're old enough to decide on their own.
Parents have looked me in the eye and have told me that but for this treatment, their child would be dead.
DeWine just signed an executive order which bans gender transition surgeries for minors. It's more narrow than House Bill 68.
Kettering is jumping into the new year with a new trampoline park. Nova Trampoline Park is taking the place of Mark's Discount Drug and Grocery Store at the Kettering Oak Creek Plaza. On top of trampolines, the space will have dodgeball, a foam pit, a rock wall, and a whole lot more. It will also hire 45 people. You can find more information about the park on our website, Dayton247now.com. Just find the story under local news.
I think we should do some team building there.
I'm good.
I think I could get some anger out in dodgeball.
I have a trampoline in my backyard, and that is plenty for me.
Fair enough. Our time right now is 6:08. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
I'm Atrell Nashar in Washington with new comments by President Biden that may suggest a shift in the U.S.'s support for Israel's war in Gaza.
You're watching Your Day.
All right, we got two major issues this morning if you're heading out the doors. The first of which, downtown Dayton. This is where you see the backlog of traffic around Stanley. That due to the left lane being blocked. They are now starting to get that car out of the way. It's going to take a while. It was on its side. Now, the second major issue is up in I-70 eastbound. That's as you're heading towards Columbus. We did call dispatch. We got word that there were at least 10 slide-offs I-70 eastbound. So if you're heading to Columbus, there is a mess on the roadways out that way. Keep that in mind that this is going to be a big issue for us this morning between the weather and also between slide-offs and wet spots, slick spots, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is a morning where you got to give yourself plentiful extra time as you head out the door. Now, in terms of the wet weather, it has been a consistently wet morning. I think by now we're starting to see a lot of this rain push its way further and further north. Now, again, the Sydney, Urbana area, up towards Bellefontaine, certainly Wapakoneta, Salina, there are still going to be very much so slick spots and spots that may be not just slushy but icy. So keep in mind this morning that we are talking about really difficult travel conditions further to the north, and dare I say difficult travel conditions further south. As we get into the heart of the day, there may be a break or two from the heaviest of rain, but there's still going to be plentiful rain to be had. Once we get into tonight, could be some wet snow. That wet snow will continue up until maybe the morning, so we'll have to watch tomorrow's morning commute. Could be another slushy one. I'm not quite sure yet of our exact impacts. It's really tough to tell because temperatures will be above freezing. We'll have a ton of water on the ground, so I'd assume a lot of that snow will melt on impact. But still, you get enough snow, it can overwhelm the melting and end up piling up faster than it does melt away.
There's growing fear of a bigger conflict breaking out in the Middle East following recent actions taken by Israel. National correspondent Atra El-Nashar has the latest on the escalation.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visiting IDF troops Monday near the border of Israel and Lebanon, where a second front of the war could be forming. Netanyahu tells his troops Hezbollah is underestimating them, shortly after an Israeli strike in Lebanon killed Hezbollah commander Wissam Tawil. Many viewing it as an escalation of what's been constant skirmishes between Israel and Hezbollah since the October 7th Hamas attacks.
Hezbollah is dragging Lebanon into an unnecessary war for the sake of Hamas.
Last week, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah said their attacks against Israel are intended to, quote, stop the assault on Gaza.
This is a moment of profound tension in the region.
In his fourth visit to the Middle East since October 7th, Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the conflict could easily metastasize.
This is not just a regional issue. It's a matter of global concern.
The region further destabilized by Iran's vow to retaliate for deadly twin bombings last week, for which ISIS has claimed responsibility. Blinken calling out Houthi attacks on commercial ships in the Red Sea, which the Iran-backed rebel group says are to counter Israel's attacks on Palestinians. According to the Hamas-run Ministry of Health in Gaza, more than 23,000 people have been killed since October 7th. Calls for a ceasefire interrupting President Biden's speech at Mother Emanuel AME Church in South Carolina Monday.
I've been quietly working with the Israeli government to get them to reduce and significantly get out of Gaza.
We've heard members of the Biden administration say more needs to be done to protect civilians in Gaza, but that comment you just heard from the president is by far the most direct signal he's made, indicating that he's frustrated with Israel's operations. In Washington, I'm Atra El-Nashar.
Our time right now is 6:15, taking a live look from our weather vehicle this morning. We're seeing a mess, not only here in Dayton, but over in Springfield as well. We've got all your traffic updates, plus more from Nick coming up.
You're watching Your Day.
All right, we are looking at right for now a big traffic issue in downtown Dayton. That due to a crash that actually saw a vehicle overturned, and with that vehicle being overturned, it ended up blocking traffic on the left lane of I-75. So if you are traveling in that direction, you are probably continuing to see a significant delay over by Stanley. Did get a report I-70 eastbound as you head towards Columbus. So you're heading out of basically our area. There was numerous slide offs reported over by exit 66. So that's Ohio 54. It isn't exactly a huge area in terms of traffic, let's say downtown Dayton, but if you are traveling towards Columbus, a significant delay there. So multiple issues for this morning. Now, if you are traveling, the reason why we're seeing this is rain and potentially some wet snow, and that has probably been the biggest thing that we have seen. Temperatures compared to yesterday are a little bit warmer, and the reason I'm bringing up temperatures is because we have mid to upper 30s south, so that's probably enough that it's melting. Even if we were to see the upper levels being cold, melt the snow. By the time it gets down into the low to mid 30s, okay, maybe you get a flake or two that makes its way in. And certainly, based on this morning where it was a little bit cooler, there was likely to be some areas of slush and things of that nature. This is the view over Beaver Creek. So for right now, it doesn't look, I can't really see any snow on the ground. But again, that is Beaver Creek. This is all caused by a low that's over the center of the United States. And you can see just how much rain and snow it is bringing to not only our area, but just about area. Let's take a look further southeast. Of course, that's where the air is coming from. It is a little bit warmer, so I'd expect today to end up near 49, maybe even 50, but it's really about this morning where we are seeing the significant travel issues, and we could actually see a morning tomorrow with more travel issues because we could get more of that wet snow, perhaps maybe a little bit of sleet. Temperatures are kind of in that area where it's really going to be just all over the place in certain terms of wet weather. Worth pointing out that we will see more impacts over the weekend due to rain and snow Friday into Saturday.
Topping this morning's Dayton Business Journal headlines, a local visual arts center is looking to expand its operations in downtown Dayton. The K-12 Gallery in Tejas is looking to buy the neighboring building at South Main Street and the rear building on the site. Their plan is to repurpose the building into a community teaching studio. The nonprofit will also enhance security to include an enclosure around the backside perimeter of the two buildings. To read more about this story and others like it, head to Dayton247now.com. Just click on the news tab and then select Dayton Business Journal.
Our time right now is 6:21. Still to come.
I'm Keela Gaskins in Washington. Coming up, the latest on the defense secretary's hospital stay and the communication breakdown that has led critics to question leadership at the Pentagon.
You're watching Your Day.
All right, we're still continuing to track multiple issues this morning, the biggest of which downtown Dayton, where we did have a overturned vehicle. And because of that, you can see the backlog of traffic towards Stanley. So that is something that we have been keeping our eyes on, keeping track of all throughout the last couple of hours. Ongoing issue as you head out of town. So I-70 eastbound did get a report of multiple slide-offs over by 54. I'm not seeing any delays in that area. Of course, there's not a lot of traffic cameras, so we'll just keep monitoring the situation and perhaps give dispatch another call here in the next little bit just to check in on the situation. Meanwhile, another one just popped up, Highway 49 south at Wolf Creek Pike again. But the big issue remains over downtown Dayton with a significant delay on the roads this morning. As you head out the door, perhaps maybe you're thinking about taking a pet with you, or perhaps maybe you're like me and just, you're going to have to figure a way to get the dog outside. It is a sopping wet day. By the time we get towards the next, I would even say hour or two, that rain will have overspread the area after mixing with snow across portions of the area. Because of that, it is going to be muddy. It's going to be quite miserable. And with temperatures in the upper 40s, well, at least it won't be that cold. But still, this is not going to be a particularly nice day. And I do know that, for some of our pet owners, maybe Brandy over here with Frank, it's just one of those days where you look outside, you go, maybe we'll inside play a lot today. Go out, use the bathroom, come back in, and go from there. Again, sopping wet this morning, continuing to track multiple traffic issues, and just a period of mired in wet weather.
Officials now say Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin will keep his job. This after the Pentagon failed to tell the White House Austin was in the hospital. National correspondent Kayla Gaskins joins us now with the latest from Washington.
For days, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin was hospitalized at Walter Reed, handing power to his second in command. And no one told the president.
The handling of this by the Secretary of Defense is totally unacceptable.
It's a communication breakdown with serious national security implications. And it came at a time when two close U.S. allies, Israel and Ukraine, are at war. The defense secretary is second in command only to the president when it comes to making military decisions.
When you're the Secretary of Defense, you need to make everyone aware that you're actually going to be out of pocket. Apparently, the National Security Council didn't know it, the White House didn't know it, Congress didn't know it. We're at a time of a lot of turmoil internationally.
In a Truth Social post, former President Donald Trump said Austin should be fired for dereliction of duty. Austin was admitted to Walter Reed Monday, January 1st, for complications following an elective surgery. On Tuesday, he transferred power to his deputy, Kathleen Hicks, who was on vacation in Puerto Rico. Multiple sources say Hicks wasn't aware of why she was given control. On Thursday, the Pentagon finally told the White House the defense secretary was out of commission. Congress wasn't informed until Friday, just hours before the Pentagon released a statement to the public.
I do hope that every person in the cabinet recognizes that this was not an appropriate step, not an appropriate way to handle what was his hospitalization.
Virginia Democratic Representative Abigail Spanberger said once the secretary is fully recovered, Congress deserves answers.
Hopefully there will be greater transparency, at least within the administration.
In a statement Saturday, Austin took full responsibility for the decisions about disclosing his condition. The 70-year-old has resumed full authority. The Democrat and Republican leaders of the House Armed Services Committee releasing a joint statement calling for concrete consequences for how the situation was handled. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
Our time right now is 6:28, still to come.
Law enforcement officers were shot more last year than any time before. I'm Janae Bones in Washington with a look at what needs to be done to stop this troubling trend.
And taking a live look from our first warning weather vehicle on the roads this morning, where you see heavy rainfall in some areas, even snow. Nick's got your forecast coming up, what to expect on your area roadways as you head out the door.
But first, here's Gina Gannon with America's Steals and Deals.
The following segment is sponsored by Naki.
Your smile is the first thing someone notices when they see you, so you want it to be perfect. For me, I'm a coffee and red wine drinker, so I wanted to make sure that that's not staining my teeth. Well, thanks to the folks at Mint, they have for us today their Instant Purple color correcting toothpaste. It's amazing. So it's purple, and what that purple does is it helps to combat those yellow tones. Not that I ever had any, but it's amazing that you can get instant, long-lasting whitening simply by brushing your teeth. But then you get all the benefits of a really great toothpaste. So it's powered by NHAP, which is a mineral that is helping to get into that enamel and strengthen your teeth. So not only is it strengthening your teeth, it's helping fight plaque, helping with cavities, helping odor. It's really doing a great job while providing instant whitening, which is awesome. It can actually make your teeth 3 shades whiter in just 7 treatments. It's amazing. You notice a difference right away. And I was so thrilled when I was able to brush my teeth simply by putting 2 pumps on my toothbrush, brushing my teeth, and I was on my way to an instantly whiter smile. So right now we have a special offer on Mint. Head to asadeals.com for this exclusive offer.
As we come on the air this morning, a morning mess on our area roadways. You're taking a live look from our first warning weather vehicle on I-70 at this hour, where you see heavy rainfall in some areas in the Miami Valley. They're even seeing some snow.
And of course, that's causing some school delays and crashes, as you can see here on our ODOT cameras. It is a mess out there. Meteorologist Nick Maruziak joins us live now with how long this will impact your morning commute. Nick?
Yeah, this is going to be an all-morning rain event. There could actually be a period here where maybe it's not necessarily every single minute, but we may end up a little bit of a break. Let's take a wider view look at it, because I think it's important to note that there has been a little bit of a drier area. It's starting to fill in, though, so instead of, let's say, being light and moderate rainfall, it may be drizzle and light rainfall. But either way, again, we are talking about a sopping wet morning commute, and the further north and especially northeast you you go, the more likely you're going to encounter snow. So especially if you're heading up towards Cleveland, that's going to be problematic. As for this morning, still going to have its fair share of problems as we've seen. Rain and wind will continue throughout the morning. Temperatures should be able to get into the 40s.
And we will continue to bring you updates on the traffic and weather all morning long. To get breaking news push alerts sent directly to your phone, download the Dayton 24/7 Now app in Google Play and Apple App Stores.
New data shows 2023 was the most dangerous year for police officers. More of them were shot in the line of duty than ever before. Janae Bowens explains why this is happening and how it can be stopped.
I don't know how to live without you, and I didn't ever want to imagine it.
It's been 4 months since Brittany Lindsay lost her fiancé, Deputy Ryan Klinkenbroomer of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. He died just 4 days after they got engaged.
I'm so happy I was able to love him.
He was ambushed and murdered while he was sitting in a patrol car. The National Fraternal Order of Police say 2023 saw the highest number of officers shot, with 378 officers shot in the line of duty. 46 of them were killed. And there were also 115 ambush-style attacks.
And that's very, very concerning because we're seeing cops getting attacked and shot simply for being cops.
Sergeant Betsy Smith with the National Police Association says more light needs to be shined on the positive things officers do. And departments need more funding and more officers.
We are so short-staffed, we don't necessarily have the time to attend the training that we need to keep police officers and ultimately the community safe.
She says it's going to take a multi-pronged approach to stop officers like Klinkenbroomer from being killed in the line of duty.
Now look down on all your brothers and sisters in blue. Keep them safe so this never happens to anyone else. Protect them and watch over them as they continue to serve their community.
Now, the National Fraternal Order of Police is calling on Congress to pass the Protect and Serve Act. Now, this bill calls for the establishment of a new criminal offense for knowingly assaulting an officer and causing serious bodily harm or attempting to do so. In Washington, I'm Janae Bowens.
A live look over the White House this morning. Right now, a driver is in custody after a vehicle crashed into the gate at the White House complex last night. The Secret Service is investigating. No one was hurt. Roads closed down temporarily because of the crash. President Biden was not at the White House at the time.
At least 21 people are recovering after an explosion at a historic Texas building. It happened at the Sandman Signature Fort Worth downtown hotel. One person has critical injuries, 4 are in serious conditions, and everyone else has minor injuries. Crews found multiple people trapped in the basement of the 20-story building.
This morning, we're hearing from firefighters who ran into a burning charter bus. The crash on I-70 killed 6 people from the Tuscarawas Valley School District.
Things just seem to be escalating quickly. It started with a couple patients to, hey, you have approximately 40, 50 people on this bus.
Everyone did what they needed to do. And I think that's probably should be the takeaway from it is everybody did their job.
Firefighters also praised bystanders who rescued passengers before they arrived, likely preventing a bigger tragedy.
Former Presidents Bill Clinton and Donald Trump were named in the latest document dumps from a lawsuit connected to Jeffrey Epstein. One of Epstein's victims alleges the 2 men had sex with girls in Epstein's circle. The victim has since retracted her claims. She cited a fear for her family's safety. Both Trump and Clinton have denied any wrongdoing.
Our time right now, 6:38. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
You're watching Your Day.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Whiteout conditions among the active weather blanketing a chunk of the country. This was the scene around the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles, which were two of several states dealing with blizzards. North Dakota was the only U.S. state untouched by weather warnings, watches, or advisories Monday. Meanwhile, near Reno, Nevada, a snow-covered ground and this sun pillar gracing the morning sky.
Listen to Off the Radar, new episodes every Tuesday.
Good morning and welcome to the Watson's Weather Patio, where we are talking about a morning where it is absolutely sopping wet out, and that's before we even start talking about the ongoing rain. It is continuing to pour here in Miamisburg. Maybe not pour is the right term, but it is consistently lightly raining, and it has been for some time. So effectively, we are talking about just one of those mornings where at best it's wet and at worst it's very slick outside. And because of that, it's not just the areas that have seen the snow that are problematic, it's also the areas where you are talking about pavers. I know on the pavement out here it is sopping wet. On the actual background here it is sopping wet as well, and you can see just the continuation of the rain as it is falling from the awning over here. So again, right now still continuing to rain here in Miamisburg, and still going to have some problems across the area due to ongoing rainfall.
Hello, I'm Matt Digby with a look at sports. The Cincinnati Bengals winning Sunday to finish the year above 500, but the Bengals offseason officially in progress. No playoff appearance for the first time since 2020. So that means Monday was exit meetings and locker room cleanouts as the team starts looking ahead to 2024. Now, Joe Burrow signed his contract extension at the beginning of this season, but there are a couple of decisions for the Bengals to make regarding personnel. Several big names are eligible for free agency. Zach Taylor addressing the potential of roster turnover and the chance for new players to step up.
You're going to have a lot of first, second year, third year players, and there's new leadership that has to emerge from that group. And that starts with me helping navigate that leadership. That is a big point of emphasis here in the next 6 months.
It's always tough when you're watching from the sideline. You're used to being out there playing and making a difference. You tried to find ways to make a difference where you could, but obviously it's not the same. Guys maintained their routines. They stayed engaged. They went out and tried to win football games, and we did. We put ourselves in position. Didn't quite make the playoffs, but we had our opportunities.
While the Cleveland Browns saw their 4-game win streak end on Sunday, they still have at least one more game to play this season. The Browns will be on the road Saturday afternoon at Houston for the wild card round. Cleveland beat the Texans 36-22 back on Christmas Eve, but Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud missed that game with a concussion. Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski acknowledging that he'd hoped for a win in the regular season finale, but now they can focus on trying to advance in the postseason.
I thought that was a great learning experience for a bunch of young guys, and I think they will get better because of that. And then we'll get on the airplane and we'll get ready for Houston. Really, our focus goes on to that second season, and we have to really get back to work is really where our focus is. Obviously, I have a ton of respect for their team, their coaches. They do a great job.
And the College Football Hall of Fame announcing its class of 2024. There is a Dayton native among this year's inductees. Chris Ward played at Patterson Co-op before a successful 4 years at Ohio State as an offensive lineman under Woody Hayes in the 1970s. Former Buckeye assistant and one-time UC head coach Mark D'Antonio is one of 3 coaches to be inducted. So is Frank Solich, the winningest head coach in MAC history. The full 22-person class will be formally enshrined in December. That's a look at sports. I'm Matt Digby.
Our time right now is 6:45. You're watching Your Day.
We are looking at right for now a very sopping wet morning commute that includes the greater Beaver Creek area, where yet again it is the type of morning where we have seen periods of intense rain, even some snow. And I think for right now, it's fair to say that based on temperatures, based on the air mass, it has probably all become rain. And even if it hasn't, it's going to be the type of rain, or should I say wet snow, that will actually melt anything that is on the ground, if there is anything still left on the ground. We will continue to see periods of heavier rainfall later on this morning through the afternoon. This is part of a big complex low that's bringing snow to Iowa and parts of Missouri, severe weather deep to our south, and we are kind of stuck in between, where it's going to be raining and temperatures going to be upper 40s, if not near 50. It's going to be kind of a miserably soggy day. Meanwhile, tonight could see again a period or two of sleet or even a little bit of wet snow. It may be a case where we do have some slick spots for tomorrow morning. So next 24 hours are going to be somewhat problematic for those commutes. That being said, tomorrow should be by and large dry second half of the day. Thursday also dry. Friday into Saturday, more wet weather, including the potential for Saturday to feature snow. If we do see snow this time around, it's going to stay. We're going to have temperatures well below average for Sunday and Monday of next week. Could actually get some of the overnight lows to drop into single digits. On the roads this morning, it has been a complete mess. We had two major incidents, and one that was around earlier on. 75 is now clear through the heart of downtown. We had an overturned vehicle there. There was an earlier incident by Dryden Road, and we did get a report earlier, maybe an hour ago, that 70 by 54, so that's east of Buena Vista. That is where there were 10 slide-offs on that area. So if you are traveling east and north, that is where the problems still lie.
Our time right now is 6:52. You're watching Your Day. This morning, 3 people are now recovering in the hospital after a police chase ended in a crash and officer-involved shooting. This is drone video from the scene on US 35.
Now you can see the suspect's truck actually landed on top of a Trotwood cruiser. US 35 shut down for more than 9 hours. A Trotwood officer, the suspect, and one of the suspect's relatives are all at Miami Valley Hospital right now. Here's what we know at this hour. Trotwood police got the call about a woman hit by a vehicle at the Voyager Village Trailer Park around 11 o'clock yesterday morning. Officers started helping her when the suspect drove past them in a white truck. They say he pointed a long gun at them. That's when the chase started. Police followed the suspect onto US 35 as other law enforcement agencies joined them. They say the suspect started firing at them, then at the intersection of Liscum and US 35. Investigators say the suspect crossed all lanes of traffic and hit a Montgomery County Sheriff's Office cruiser and a Trotwood cruiser. Police then fired multiple shots at the truck and hit the suspect. The Trotwood officer inside the cruiser, the suspect and the suspect's relatives who was hit by the truck are all in the hospital now. The officer and the woman are expected to be okay. No word yet on the suspect's condition.
Jenny Lee Borg shares video from bystanders who saw the terrifying scene.
This witness actually started filming right when he saw the police activity.
The detectives was over here, everything.
He shockingly stayed calm as he watched what was unfolding.
Oh, they got them police chasing.
And then...
All right, here you go, right here. Damn, he just took them out.
The shock was similar from both witnesses as they filmed.
Oh, look at this.
Then reality set in just as shots began to fire.
That was crazy. Oh, they busting. Oh, they busting. They're having a shootout down here. That ran straight into the police.
We're still working to learn more about this investigation, but the sheriff's office says it will take time. We first brought you details on the crash yesterday as breaking news. To get push alerts sent directly to your phone, download our Dayton 24/7 Now app in Google Play or Apple App stores. You can also scan the QR code on your screen now to get sent directly to the app. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. A Vandalia man will now spend 13 years in prison for possession of fentanyl near a school. Prosecutors say 34-year-old Jason Glanton had enough fentanyl to kill thousands of people. After months of investigating, officials say he dealt multiple variations of the drug near Helke Elementary School. Glanton pleaded guilty in September.
A 15-year-old Wapakoneta boy is fighting for his life in the hospital after being shot. He's right now in critical condition. It happened around 5:30 Sunday morning. Police found the boy with a gunshot wound and took him to the hospital. Right now, they do not suspect foul play. Ohio BCI is helping with the investigation. Wapakoneta High School's crisis intervention team is available to help students and staff struggling with this.
Lieutenant Governor John Husted now sharing his opinion on Governor DeWine's veto of House Bill 68. That bill would have banned all gender-affirming care for minors. Husted says he supported the bill as written while DeWine objected to certain provisions.
Reasonable people can disagree on this. I just believe that men shouldn't play women's sports for lots of reasons, and we shouldn't have these surgeries that create permanent medical outcomes for children before they're old enough